Eric Davis with Let's Chop It Up. We're talking about real men, real conversation, and we're getting real results. If you're a man who's been dealing with a lot and has no place to unpack it, no place to talk about it, no place to get an understanding, you are in the right place today. Today's conversation, why discipline feels harder as we as men get older. We know it's great to have discipline and we need discipline. Discipline doesn't get weaker as you get older. Life, it gets heavier as you get older. But what we got to understand is you have more responsibility, more pressure, and more people depending on you. And this could add to any situation when we keep putting ourselves in these positions where we don't get the necessary care and help that we need. I know it sounds odd, sounds strange, but we have to make sure that we have support systems in place for when things get heavy, because we have people depending on us, because we put pressure on ourselves. Brothers, we got to make sure that we're able to handle all these things, all right, and be healthy while we're handling them. What I need you to understand, when discipline is treated like a character flaw instead of a capacity issue, we as men start to blame ourselves. When we treat it like a character flaw, and it really is a capacity issue, do we have the bandwidth to deal with what we are dealing with, what we're putting on our plate? Do we have the necessary tools in place to help us, to guide us, to direct us, to undergird us, to support us? Do we have those things in place, all right, so we can be successful? We're going to get older. Thank God, if we live long enough, we're going to get older. That means we have to continue to be disciplined in everything we do. And I'm a witness to that. We have made so many bad decisions with good intentions. That was a phrase I used years ago. We had great intentions, but made bad decisions because we didn't have the necessary tools in place and weren't able, all right, to assess what we were dealing with, all right, in a healthy manner. So we made some bad decisions. Good intentions, but bad decisions. And I say that because we have to be and need to be structured in everything that we do, all right? Structure is in line with discipline. If you show me somebody that's structured, I'll show you somebody that's disciplined. Fellas, we got to be structured and disciplined, all right? We got to make sure that we are keeping ourselves in the right vein, that we can handle what we need to handle. And first, we need to be premeditated. That's the word. We got to be premeditated in what we're doing. We got to think about what we're doing. We got to make sure that we've got all our ducks lined up in a row, and that we make sure that we are disciplined. And that structure goes with discipline. Premeditation goes with discipline, because when you tell me that you're going to do something, which means you've thought about it, you set it up, got the idea, you've planned it out to a T. I know we think about it, we hear premeditated in crime, but we need to be premeditated in what we do and how we handle things that have been put in our hands to handle. So we got to make sure that we're premeditated, all right, and being disciplined to handle what we have put in our hands to make sure that we're successful. I need you to understand that structure is key, and structure beats motivation. We can be motivated to do a lot of things, but if we don't have the structure and the ideal and the premeditation to carry out what we're motivated about, then we'll stumble and go through roadblocks, right? Structure beats motivation. I'm always talking about this. Rest supports consistency. We're going to be consistent in what we're doing. We got to have proper rest. I know we're beating the pavement. I know we're getting up and going to these jobs. I know we're supporting everybody. We're trying to be everything for everybody. I was having a conversation with my boy today, and I said, dude, you got to find some time to get away. Can you make time to get away? And it's imperative, because when we got all this on us, it starts to show in our physical, it starts to show in our mental, it starts to show in our emotional, all right? So rest beats consistency. And I need you to get some rest, because you're no good to anybody else if you're not healthy and well within yourself. Discipline works best when it's realistic. Follow me on this. Discipline works best when it's realistic and you've set realistic goals and you're not punishing. You don't come out to where you're punishing yourself. Try to do so many things that it didn't happen and now you're punishing yourself. You feel like you're punishing yourself because you weren't able to reach the goals because people are depending on you. And you take that on and it feels like punishment because you didn't set realistic goals. You weren't premeditated and strategic in what you needed to do. Fellas, just because we're getting older don't mean we got to fall off. We got to make sure we stay focused in everything that we do because we're carrying the weight of our families. We're carrying the weight of those that are depending on us, the loved ones, the friends who look to us. You know, they're always thinking you're the strong one. So we got to make sure that we set realistic goals and we make sure that we're realistic in everything that we do because we don't want to fall into a trap where we fall into depression because we've let people down. All right, we've let people down. We haven't upheld the standard that people have set for us. And that's key. You can't try to set a standard or hold up a standard that somebody else has set for you. You've got to make sure that the standard you set for yourself is the one that you're maintaining, that you're being premeditated about, that you're devising a plan, that you're staying disciplined, that you're staying structured, all right, and it doesn't feel like punishment. All right, question I have for you today, and I need you to think on this. All right, sit in this. What do you need to sustain you in this season that you're in? Think about that. I ask again, what do you need to sustain you in this season that you're in? Get it, write it down, put it in your phone, put it on your tablet, put it on the wall, put it on your board. What do you need to sustain you in this season? We all need someone, we all need something to help sustain us. Prayer, meditation, the word of God, laughter, joy, being around people. That's a big one. Being around people with like-minded, being around people that you know support you and you support them, people you can lean on. All right, I'm big on that because it takes a community to survive. Those of us that were raised in the 70s and 80s, and it was a community that supported us. It was a community that held us in order, that held us accountable. It was a community. I don't know if y'all got the neighborhood with it, but it got one. And then when you got home, you got another one because they were looking out for you. They were looking out for your parents because they didn't know if your parents were at work or may have been out and you were home. So they looked out for you. It was a support system that we had in place. And I believe that's what a lot of us need to make sure that we have in place is a good support system. Those that will hold us accountable. Even as we get older, fellas, even as we get older, we got to have people that hold us accountable. They're going to help us to stay structured and help us to stay disciplined in the season that we're in. And once again, what is it that you need? What is it that you have to have? What is it that you are praying for? What is it that you're trying to find an understanding of? What is it that you're trying to make sure that you have and need in this season? If this conversation resonated with you, all right, if you're feeling it, I need you to like, follow, share it with another brother. Follow us on all social media platforms. Share with somebody. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Share this episode with another man who may need it. All right, I need you to do that for me. Until next time, this is Let's Chop It Up. Real men, real conversations, and we get real results. Peace.